Well, good afternoon. We're going to try to move this along fairly quickly because it's hot out here. Real quick, last Friday, same place, same location, I came out here to say that I was going to focus all of my efforts, all of my resources, all of my network on unseating the 3 Supreme Court justices up for retention on the November 2 ballot. And the reason I said that is because April 3, 2009, they clearly legislated from the bench by saying Iowa will be a same-sex marriage state. It is not their place to legislate from the bench. It is only the legislature's place to make law, not the Supreme Court's place to make law. They executed from the bench by saying all 99 counties will follow suit. They do not get to execute from the bench. Only the governor of Iowa has the executive authority, and so we need to hold this court in check. They even attempted to amend the Constitution of the state of Iowa, and they said we're going to hold up Iowa's Constitution to an evolving standard. They do not get to evolve our Constitution. Only we, the people, get to amend and evolve our Constitution. I'm thrilled to say that since Friday, I've had a lot of individuals who represent a variety of coalitions join our team, join our effort, as they see this about marriage, but they also see this about every other freedom, whether it's our Second Amendment right, our 10th Amendment right, whether it's private property, how we educate our kids, business and industry, tax policy. But if we allow them to make law in this case, every one of our freedoms is up for grabs. That is why we have decided to launch a formal campaign starting today called Iowa for Freedom. This will be a grassroots campaign that is focused with staff and with volunteers to engage all Iowans, to embrace our freedoms afresh and anew, and to provide the checks and balances that our founders put in place, such as the retention process, to hold these judges accountable, and to vote all 3 off the Supreme Court island come November 2. One last thing from my end. Iowa's motto is, our liberties we prize, and our rights we will maintain. The whole focus of Iowa for Freedom and in this retention election is to really embrace our liberties and our rights. And we will preserve our liberty and we will protect our rights by voting no on November 2 on retaining these 3 Supreme Court justices. With that, I've asked a couple of people to share just briefly as individuals of different coalitions. The first will be Pastor Brad Sherman from Coralville to talk about why the pastors of the state of Iowa need to be involved. Brad Sherman.
Well, our message hasn't really changed. For over 5,000 years of world history, for over 230 years of American history, and for over 150 years of Iowa history, marriage has been defined as the union between a man and a woman, a male and a female. But as Bob was saying, the highest court in Iowa has chosen to ignore that history. They've chosen to strike down Iowa's defense of marriage law and legislate from the bench and establish their opinion as law. Now, even more recently, over 800 pastors and church leaders from around the state signed petitions affirming their support of traditional marriage and disagreeing with the opinion of this court. So what we're going to be doing, I and others, are going to be working with pastors and church leaders around the state to, in this effort, to vote no in November on the November ballot to retain these judges. Now, what we need in Iowa are judges who uphold the Constitution, as Bob was saying. We don't need ideologues who have an agenda, and I think that's what we probably have right now. So, bottom line is, these judges have had their chance, they've blown it, and they need to go. And it's hot today, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Pastor Sherman, and everybody thanks you for being much more limited in your speech than me. And someone else who needs no introduction is private citizen from Winterset, also a state representative, who's been a champion for private property rights and many other rights. Please welcome my friend and state representative, Miss Jody Tymason.
Thank you. I'm here today to lend my support to this effort called Iowa for Freedom. And I'm here to talk directly to Iowans, because for me this is about Iowans and the choice that Iowans have. Iowans, your vote is what holds elected officials accountable. And your vote is the only way to hold unelected judges accountable. But for me, this issue is larger than the definition of marriage. It's about the constitutional process. And I've been sworn to uphold the Constitution since 1974. So this is very, very important to me. My personal passion, or one of my personal passions, is private property rights. It's an issue in my district. It's an issue all across this state where people are having to fight their own government to keep their own private property. Now, we've already seen the United States Supreme Court trample on private property rights with the Kelo decision. Iowa passed a first step, eminent domain law, to help protect private property rights. But if we don't stay vigilant in Iowa on our rights, Kelo could happen here. So that's why I'm here today. Only the legislative branch can make law. Only the people can amend the Constitution. If, in fact, the court could make law, when they struck down the Defense of Marriage Act, law should have reverted back to what it was previous to DOMA. And you all know that same-sex marriage was not legal before DOMA was passed. It should have reverted to that law instead of a new law. The court cannot make new law. But as I said, this is bigger than marriage. It's about all of your rights. It's about the constitutional process. And Iowans, you are the only ones that can protect it. Thank you.
Thank you to Brad and to Jody. And just real quickly before I take any questions, after the press conference on Friday, a former Supreme Court justice was quoted in one of the papers that says, these people, meaning Bob Vander Plaats and anybody else who seems to probably think or believe like I do, these people just don't understand middle school civics. And they don't understand the supremacy clause. Well, here's what I know. Is that when people go outside their jurisdiction, it is our right to hold them in check and to hold them accountable. And we're going to do that on November 2. Here's what I know. That the supremacy clause isn't meant to say the Supreme Court is supreme. The supremacy clause is to say the Constitution is supreme and it will be the arbitrator of everything. So that is what we're sticking to, is to the Constitution. I'm excited to become the state chair for Iowa for Freedom, and we're going to work diligently and we're going to be crystal clear in our focus as we go after 3 judges on this ballot. And I believe when we do this in Iowa, it'll send a ripple effect across the country, and it'll give hope to the people in California, it'll give hope to the people in Arizona and across the country that you can hold courts in check.
Yes, we can.